Last week, Mojang announced their next update, the Pale Garden, which includes a brand new biome with a new oak variant, a set of blocks for players to use, and the Creaking, a brand new mob that only attacks when no one is looking. In this episode, I will be giving my opinion of these new features and giving explanations of how they work. First, I'll talk about the new biome and blocks, then I'll get into detail on the Creaking and its mechanics. First, I would like to talk about the new Pale Garden biome, which mostly I have good things to say about, but there are a few things that I think Mojang could have done a little bit better. For one, I think the grass is just the wrong color. Like, it looks too vibrant for this more eerie, dead-looking area, and I feel like that could be a little bit darker, more silverish, much like the moss. I feel like the moss is right on point. It fits this biome. And I don't know if they could have done any better with this. Like, it's really good, although I do think there should be more of it. Like, it's just sprouting around the trees. I feel like there should be more of a tangled web of moss spreading throughout this just to give it more of an eerie feel. Now, the trees, I have nothing bad to say about. Their bark texture is amazing. It's more of a silvery looking color, which just brings to mind elven builds. Same with the white texture of the wood they're bringing. And, oh, I just love it. It just feels so new and needed to the game. Same with the leaves. Most of the leaves are just too bright. These feel like they're gonna make a lot of progress into, like, more natural builds, such as dead trees, dead bushes, these kinds of things. And it's just going to make builds a lot more detailed and just better quality. The vines, I don't have much to say about. It's a cool addition, but not exactly necessary or that great for detailing. I mean, it looks kind of cool, but I don't see where I'm ever going to actually use this. I also do like that the sky changes color when you enter this biome. This could be really helpful for certain builds where you want it to look slightly creepier, dingier. I feel like that fits really well with this biome. And the lack of music was really clever because that also makes it feel like you're really alone in this area, just making it more creepy. Now, onto the blocks. So far, Mojang has released 18 new blocks that we're going to be able to use in this new update, which so far I'm liking them all. The wood, as I said before, really feels elven, especially the stripped wood and the plank variants. It just feels like a lot of elvish builds will look so good using these new wood variants. And it's just going to really improve the quality of those builds. Especially what comes to mind for me is elven boats. I feel like there's going to be a lot of really good boats being built from this. I don't know why, just boats. Then the Creaking Heart, which is a block we'll get into in more detail here in a minute once I discuss the mechanics. It also looks really good. I mean, I don't see how it could be used as a decorating block, but I do like the design quite a lot. And as I said before, leaves just look amazing, really grayed out, silverish. Moss, we talked about that. And the trees. I love the new sapling. It looks very much so like the Weeping Willow, as they said in their live. And I just love this little sapling here. The doors and trap doors are probably my favorite bit of the wood variant because it just gives more of a medieval vibe. And I feel like Minecraft's been needing that for a while. Because most of the doors are the oak and the spruce and the dark oak are the most common doors. But I feel like this just gives you that real perfect medieval door if you're wanting to do a small castle or just a medieval shack or hut. It just looks really great. So as most of you probably already know, the Creaking is the new mob that will be added in the Pale Garden update. And its appearance is unlike any mob we've ever seen. It's very asymmetrical. It blends into its background really well, which is very unique for a mob. And it only moves when the player is not looking at it, which is also a very fun, unique feature for mini games and just pranking your friends all the time. Another thing is the Creaking Heart, which summons these guys, can only be activated whenever there is a log. It doesn't matter if it's a regular log or one of the logs where all the sides are bark. It can only be activated when there is a log underneath and on top where these little rings are. And then it will start glowing orange, and can be activated by pushing a log on top with a piston, which is very useful if you only want it activated at certain times. Another very interesting feature that I was extremely excited to discover is that the creaking can be picked up with a Silk Touch tool, which I am very excited to get into more whenever the update fully releases on the survival server. Something very interesting that I discovered is that the creaking can spawn on top of transparent blocks and buttons. I'm not exactly sure how or why, but during my testing of this new block and mob, I discovered they spawn on both, but cannot spawn on top of leaves. My guess is this is to keep them from spawning on top of the pale garden canopy, which is very, very useful if you're wanting to manipulate the mob's spawning mechanics. Something else is that it's an immovable block. Pistons cannot push or pull the creaking heart, which is very unique because there's not many naturally growing blocks that can do this. I've also discovered that the creaking can spawn approximately 10 blocks away from the creaking heart. This is not an exact number, but it is a close approximation of its maximum distance. So if you're wanting to spawn this in a specific spot, make sure and cover every area you don't want it to spawn in leaves up to 10 blocks away minimum. One of the reasons I'm so excited for this mob to be added is that it will be very useful in mini games because it cannot be killed without breaking the creaking heart, which enables you to make a mini game where your mobs inside cannot be killed by the players, even in survival mode. It's also a very interesting defense feature, because the creaking only deals 1 heart of damage. You have to have a lot of them to be a viable defense from other players. But with the way the creaking heart spawns, it's very easy to get a large number of creaking in one area. Something that the creaking is lacking though, and I feel like really needs to be added before this is fully into the game, is that the creaking needs to be connected to some kind of other block. Because for now, it's only connected to this, and this is only connected to the creaking, which I feel like is a bit underwhelming. I think it needs a little bit of something, like maybe something you can craft out of the creaking heart, maybe some redstone component. It just needs something a bit more, because I think the creaking is lacking a little bit in that area. But overall, I think the new mob is actually a very good addition to the game, and I'm excited to get into using it in my survival server. So to answer the question of is the Pale Garden update good? Overall, yes, it's a good update. I feel Mojang could improve a few areas that don't seem to fit or are lacking, but I'm very excited for this update anyway and can't wait to put these blocks and the creaking to good use. I feel like this is an update that the community will really enjoy because it adds some really cool new blocks, an awesome new biome, and a very interesting new mob. Which in that area, I feel like Mojang made the right decision adding this as a small update. It creates a lot more creativity with these new blocks, and just some more fun to be had with friends in this new biome. To keep up to date on the new updates and features, make sure to like and subscribe. Also check out my videos on the Crowns of Fire survival series. See you in the next episode.